This Mercedes C200 has an Android-based head unit, and it comes with an inbuilt microphone, but phone conversations using this inbuilt microphone isn't really that good. I'm making this video to show you the recording quality of the internal microphone that's built into this Android-based head unit. I haven't attached the external microphone that's provided, but just want to do a before and after and see whether the external microphone has any improvements over the internal one. So let's record one audio sample here. Mic testing, test 1, 2, 3. Accept that, then listen to the sound. Mic testing, test 1, 2, 3. I can hear a lot of reverberation. There's audio, it's good, but there's a lot of reverberation on the playback. So I've decided to install the external microphone that comes with the package into the overhead console here. So in this video I'm going to show you how it's done, and all you need are these three basic tools. I've got a torque set, a plastic pry tool, and tweezers. So let's get started. First thing you need to do is to get your plastic pry tool and insert the thin edge onto that slot right in front here, and then just gently pry it open and then remove it. There's a clamp on the front there. You just need to clear, and that should be good. Next step, just take out this bulb. It just pulls straight out. Next step is that there are two tabs on either side. So all you need to do is pull. As you pull this tab down, insert your plastic pry tool on the corresponding edge here and pry that open. Leave it open like that, and then work on the other side. Same thing, and that entire overhead light console will come off. So the next step is to take out the bulbs. So there are two bulbs on either side, so just take them off, and another one on this side, so it's just a twisting motion. And then what you need to do next is using your tweezers. If you have a plastic tweezer, then it's better. What you need to do next is to remove this sort of film here. If you're doing it for the first time, it might struggle a bit because I think this film would have stuck on that plastic, but just carefully pry it out. Make sure you don't break any of the filaments, any of the terminals there. So doing that again on the other side for a much closer view. Just carefully pry this connector here. Again, it's very delicate, so just be careful doing this. Take your time, especially if you're doing this the first time. I've done this before, so it's kind of a bit loose already, but the first time I was doing it, it was a bit sticky. But just take your time on each corner and you'll get there. Next, using your T7 torque screwdriver, just undo all these screws that you see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in total. And once you have all the screws removed, this whole black panel piece will just come off. While we have the logic board hanging like this, I'd like to bring up two things. Firstly, notice how I messed up the left-hand light connector here, which probably won't work anymore. My mistake was that I thought those connectors doesn't come off from the socket side, so I left it dangling like this. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't take too much force to peel it away from the board. So make sure to peel away these foil connectors from the light housing, as I've shown earlier in the video. Second thing is that this is probably a good time to check if your overhead console comes with a thermostat directly above the slots we will attach the mic into. I searched online and my best guess is that the thermostat probably looks something like this. And since I can't find any part remotely similar to this, my assumption is that this overhead console doesn't come with a thermostat, so I decided to go ahead. If the logic board on your overhead console is slightly different from mine and you suspect it has a thermostat, you might want to install the microphone in another spot. Okay, I have the microphone, the external microphone that came with the head unit, and here outside I'm gonna dismantle this and attach the microphone here facing down, and as you can see it's sort of through and through. So obviously I need the microphone, this one, the actual housing sort of disassembled. Got a few tapes here and some scissors. So let's get started. First, let's get rid of this. We don't need to mount that. I've already started to dismantle this before. Put that away, set that aside. And then let's just unravel the wire completely here. And I think that should be enough. Okay, so I've looped excess wire on that post, that pillar there, so that if this gets accidentally tugged, it's not gonna displace the microphone. Okay, so I've got the glue gun heating up. All I need to do is a small dab of glue. So I'm just gonna zoom out a bit here so you can see the full picture. So just be careful, don't melt any of the existing plastic. I think that's a bit too much. It's starting to dry up. Yep. Nothing visible there. Put some glue on the actual wire itself as well. But what I did is to add another layer of glue on the side. So there's glue on this side here, and there's another glue there, and I also dabbed a bit of glue on that side. So while that's drying off, let's cut foam tape. So my intention is to just cover that off, that top section off with this foam tape, to make sure that the microphone doesn't bounce around when you're driving, because when it's bouncing around and you're driving, there'll be a lot of noise. I'm gonna stick the microphone, this foam tape, just on top of the microphone there. Over time this will probably come off, because the kind of temperature that this piece is exposed would be extreme, and at some point it will probably dry up and melt. Or so what I have is, I'll just use this, probably a fabric tape, because fabric tape, these fabric tapes they're pretty very durable. So I'm just gonna cover that off with fabric tape. Make sure I've got enough coverage on both sides. There. That microphone is not going anywhere. So I've got an anchor point there. I've glued the wire in that point. I've got glue on the microphone itself, and I've got foam tape on top. So that should be okay. And again, this one came off. We just need to fix that back. That's it, we're done. So now I'm gonna put this back on and thread the microphone wire through the headliner. So to thread the wire, the microphone wire in through that slot, I've attached a small, a thin piece of cardboard through. So from there I inserted it through, and it's now sticking out near the light sensor. So what I'll be doing is the usual trick: stick this jack end onto that piece and make sure it's a bit tight. It's actually very tight in that area. I'm just gonna fast forward this part because this was a fail. Obviously the masking tape didn't hold because the gap between the roof and the headliner was too narrow, and when I tried to pull the cardboard piece out, the mic jack came off. So my suggestion is to use a better method. Now that I have the microphone installed on this overhead light console, we're now ready to put this all back. So to put this back, the first thing you need to do is align these two pins, or those two terminals, onto those two corresponding holes. This is for the main light, so just make sure it's aligned, and then put everything in place. Make sure it's all flush on all sides. Yep. Make sure all buttons are tactile. This one doesn't seem to be tactile. Oh. Yep. Nope. Don't let that wire get caught. And I think it's because there it is. Yep. And then hold that in place and proceed to reattach all the 7 screws together. Then using your tweezers, just carefully lay back the film again in its place. Do the same on the other side. Once you do, get your bulb and reattach the bulb, and then twist clockwise. Do the same for the other one. Twist clockwise. Then proceed to tuck the wires back in on the side, like so. And then towards the back here, or towards the front, there is some sort of a tab. You align that tab or insert that tab into the corresponding slot here, and then just also make sure that this hook mechanism hooks into the back of that headliner. So just make sure the wires are all tangle free. The hooks are clipped in. And then push it in. Make sure these two tabs are aligned to the corresponding tabs on the headliner, and then just snap it in place. Make sure these two tabs have retracted. Then get a light bulb and insert it back. Then last step, get your plastic cover, align these two tabs in front, and then just push it back in. Make sure the lights are all working. It's all good. And that's it. Next, we just need to route the microphone wire across the headliner, then down the A-pillar, then back across the passenger side footwell, and finally onto the Android head unit. For instructions how to remove the A-pillar cover and disassembly of the center dashboard stack, I'll put a link to those relevant videos in the description box below, so if you're not familiar how to do that, make sure to check those videos out later. This is the last accessory connector that came with the head unit. We need this for the external microphone. There are other wires here that are connected, a lot of the audio input connectors, but I removed it because I don't actually need it. For the dash cam, I would be needing, I think, the one of these video inputs, but mainly for the external microphone, this is all we really need. This is the minimum amount of connectors that I needed, so it doesn't create a lot of bulk inside the dashboard cavity. We're just gonna connect this into the head unit. There's the corresponding slot on the head unit, which is right there. All we need to do is connect this in. And I think that's all good. It's seated properly. We're now ready to connect the external microphone into the microphone input jack, and we'll do some comparative testing based on the external microphone and the internal microphone. I've got the Android head unit powered on. I've installed a voice recorder app, and we're just gonna do a voice recording test and compare the two recordings. So first would be the external microphone, so I'm just gonna press record here. External microphone recording. External microphone recording. Test 1 2 3. Save. And I'm just going to do playback. Microphone recording. External microphone recording. Test 1 2 3. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is unplug this connector. So it's sort of dangling just right there. And I'm going to do another recording, this time using the built-in microphone. Testing internal microphone. Testing internal microphone. Test 1 2 3. Just do a playback. Testing internal microphone. Testing internal microphone. Test 1 2 3. So that results conclusive. I think I'm not sure whether that's been picked up in the video, but there's a bit of a background noise on both recordings, but the voice recording on the external microphone is definitely louder and clearer, so that's a success. And I'm gonna plug it in and I'm gonna close up. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And finally, it'll mean so much to me if you can support my channel by clicking that subscribe button. And why not hit that bell icon as well so you don't miss any of my future updates. Until next time.